Good evening. Good evening. Happy Wednesday.
Hey,
Welcome back.
everybody.
Yes. Welcome back to another Wednesday, episode 11 of Black Women in Business, The Dirty Truth. Woo, y'all. How y'all feeling? How are y'all doing on this Wednesday evening? How's the week unfolding? Are y'all getting into crazy holiday mode? I know it's here. I know you're feeling it. I know you're getting itchy fingers. Who's out there prepping for Black Friday? How many of y'all already got sales going, deals going? You've been doing all the things. So I know it's coming. I know we love this time of year as business owners, but it is also a time of year where we tend to get on rocky waters, rock the boat, create some situations for us that are just straight up and down unhealthy. And that takes us into what we're going to talk about this evening. Are you hustling or are you working hard? If you don't know, there is a huge difference. There's a huge difference between hustling and working hard. And prior to coming to y'all this evening, I made the comment that I know it's part of our lingo. It's things that we say like, hey, girl, I'm hustling. I'm getting my hustle on, my little side hustle. But do you understand what it means to hustle? So while we're talking, I want to give you the definition of hustle so that you can understand. Y'all, I did a Dayna. I got y'all a definition, the real thing, not just what we think it is. I'm going to give you a definition of hustle, and I want you to keep this in mind as we talk this evening, as you're interacting with us, and then at the end or in the beginning when you get that, oh crap, that light bulb moment, let us know if you're hustling or you're working hard. So the definition of hustle is force someone to move hurriedly or unceremoniously in a specified or specific direction. What sticks out to me with hustle is force. You are being forced to move. You're hustling. You're moving fast. And how I like to look at it, and I mentioned to the ladies already, was like basketball. I play basketball. It's a big thing in our house. And our coach used to be like, I need you to hustle. These last 8 minutes, hustle, give it everything that you got. I can go 8 minutes. But can I go longer than that? So, ladies, let's get into it. Hustling versus working hard. I'm going to ask y'all, but I think I already know. Are y'all hustling or are you working hard?
I love that. I think it's interesting. And one of the comments you had made before was even in basketball, if you're hustling 8 minutes, you know that it's going to come to an end. And I think that's one of the biggest, at least to me, the way I kind of navigated between hustling and working hard. So I know when I was pushing for certain ranks or I was pushing to get next level, I did 90-day hustles, right? That's what it was called. And it yielded the results that I was looking for. Okay. 100%, it yielded the results that I was looking for. But, and I know we're going to get deeper into it later, I was burnt out and then I couldn't sustain it.
Yep.
And so I feel like it's so important to just navigate what can you do to work hard on a consistent basis that you can actually sustain. Because I don't care what type of business you're in, I don't care what type of entrepreneur you are, if you can't sustain it, right? At some point, you're going to lose momentum, you're going to lose income, you're going to lose even the excitement of what you're doing. And I've seen so many times, especially in this industry, but just across the board in entrepreneurship, so many people get to the point where they're like, I can't maintain this and still be a good wife and still be a good mom and still do these things over here. And so I think it's so important for us to identify, because everybody's level is going to be a little bit different, right? Somebody can look at Dayna's day to day and be like, oh, that girl crazy. Ain't no way I can keep up with all of that, right? Like, but I also have severe ADHD, right? Like, and although some people might look at that as a weakness, that my brain thrives on moving from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing to another thing, right? So where it might seem like, okay, well, she's spinning a wheel over here homeschooling her kids, then she's spinning a wheel over here writing a book, then she's spinning a wheel over here, but it's, and my husband always comments about it. He's like, but you don't finish it. Right? Like, so you're starting all this thing, but your ADHD brain is like, okay, squirrel, what's over here, right? So I really want you to think about that working hard versus hustle from the mode of what is your threshold, right?
Mhm.
What can you handle and actually sustain for a long term and long period?
Yeah, and just to add while you're thinking, so Dayna's saying long term, you're trying sustainability. That's what you're looking after. And I gave you the definition for hustle, but the definition for working hard, you can Google it, go to your web store, whatever you use. But the definition for working hard is a great deal of effort and endurance. Endurance. Not like Dayna said, those 90 days, they're great. But Dayna had a goal for 90 days. I think we've probably all done a 90-day hustle or a 90-day challenge. We've all done 30. I host them all the time. Host 30-day challenges. I've done a 7-day one. But there was a specific goal in those 7 days. In those 7 days, there was a goal of you feeling more energized and realizing, oh, now I can add an additional 7 days. I can add an additional 30 days. I'm not saying every 7 days I'm going to pick something up and go 10,000 miles an hour. I can't sustain that. There's no endurance in that. None. And Dayna picked up on a big one is burnout. That's what you're going to get. Like, one is going to create habits that are going to probably be healthy. They're going to give you more direction. I don't know that I'm actually ADHD. I know that if I don't have direction, we mentioned before in an episode way back when that I don't like checklists. I work better with the word priority list. If you ever heard me talk, I'll be like, throw away your to-do list, get a priority list, because it sits better with my soul to say priority list than to-do list. To-do list gives me anxiety because it means that I'm just going to keep adding. But priority list is like what's important to me today. It could be one thing and that's it. And when it's done, it's done. The rest of it, boom. Because that's what I would do. I would not finish it because it wasn't important, right? I had all these windows open, but it was like, oh, I'm done with it. It's not that big of a deal. But a priority is like red flag, got to get it done. But I don't like them. But if I don't have direction, I'm just running. I'm literally just running in circles. And before you know it, I'm tired. I need a break. Just push away. And then you're unhappy. And being unhappy creates quitting or you do those everyday quits. Like, how many times have I woke up and been like, I quit, right? Weight loss is a big one where you're like, I stepped on that scale today and it said half a pound. I'm done. I quit. And then on Monday, you get back up and you start again. But it's because you've not set yourself up. You're not working hard. You don't have the endurance. You don't have the direction. It's like you're being forced to do something, creating unhappy, unhealthy, and the burnout. And I mean, man, I wanted to talk about this so hard because I feel it in my soul. There was an article that has come out that so many women of color, Black women specifically, and I know it's a topic we're going to talk on later, so make sure you catch it. But during the pandemic, we all got into influencing and businesses, right? And we had to make money. I'm here for it. Make your money, girl. But how are you making your money? You are making it hustling, right? It was a hustle. It was a little side hustle. I'll put air quotes, little side hustle. It wasn't little, it was major because it was probably making you a whole lot of money. But then you had to keep up with it because you had to post 10,000 times, or you jumped on screen with your girlfriend and was like, oh man, I went from 1 million views a day to 10 because I took a day off. Mm-hmm. So now you got to show up every day. Now you're starting to look crazy because you're telling your kid, I can't go and do this and that. And then you feel bad. Mom guilt kicks in. All of those things kick in and you can't sustain it because before long, mentally you've given up. Physically, your body has said, honey, sit down. You didn't listen, so it shuts you down. And now what? So many women have disappeared from the online space because they started something they couldn't sustain. They were hustling. A hustle is meant to be momentarily. I know when it comes up culturally, well, I'm gonna go out here and hustle, right? I'm gonna go out here and hustle. I'm gonna go out here and hustle this so I can make the $1,000. But once you've made the $1,000, it stops.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. No, I was thinking and I was listening at the same time. Sorry, y'all. But I've never thought about the word hustle as a bad thing until here recently. And just hearing like Dayna said, the 90-day hustle. It's like, oh shoot, I gotta do this again for 90 days. I'm tapped out at day 2 because I can't keep up with everything. And so that definition of like forcing somebody to do something, that's how it feels all the time, especially when trying to not necessarily recruit people, but just talking to customers, potential customers. Is like, am I forcing them to just join me or join this journey that I'm on? And then just thinking about working hard. I'm not a very hard worker. I would rather just stay in my bed all day. I don't do that. And so that phrase, I wish I could say something else because I just don't like that term. But to-do lists do help me out. So if I have like 1 or 2 things on a list, like you say, I can get it done. It's just, will I finish it? Because now I'm in the mode of hustle and I'm tapped out and don't know how to get that motivation back. So for you ladies here, how do y'all find that motivation? Even if you on the burnout, where does that motivation come from to keep going?
So I and actually this ties into another point that I wanted to go into anyways. So first and foremost, for me, motivation is crap. I never feel like doing the things. I'm never motivated to want to do it. And if I ever wait to get motivated, it's not happening. So I just take that out of my head, period. I'm never going to feel like it. So just count it down like you do with the kids, 3, 2, 1, go. And launch, whatever that looks like. And so for me, and I think this was something that we had talked a little bit about too, even though we don't want to be in boxes, there's a level of planning and understanding where you're going so that then you're not spinning your wheels and you're actually accomplishing something. And so the example or what I think about with that is one of the things that I like preach to the sky when it comes to my business. So have a plan, right? So when we're thinking about our businesses and we're thinking about what content do we need, my brain thinks 30 or 90 days, right? So I'm thinking in quarters. So when I was planning out like, hey, what's going to happen for the end of the year, I did in September what I was going to talk about in October, November, and December. That way my brain is already knowing because I know what industry I'm in. I know what time of year it is. I know what's going to be on people's minds. And so I sit down and I structure and say, hey, and granted, of course, there's days where I pop in and it's like, this is just on my heart. That's what I'm going to talk about, right? Yeah. But I don't feel the pressure to have to show up every single day. And I don't know if we're going to one day do an episode on this, but I'm big on my cycle. So I know actually, which is funny, even though I did go to a networking event today, normally I would not have. The only reason it happened is she had to move it a week back, okay? But it's because I knew I was in menstruation and I knew that I actually need to be here. Like I just need to talk to myself. That's why last couple of days I've been doing all types of crazy stuff. Forgetting my child had a whole class he needed to log into, all types of stuff. But it's because I was in that phase. And so because I know my body, I understand my phases, because of how I structure and plan out my stuff, I don't feel like I have to hustle. I don't even feel like, honestly, a lot of times I have to show up and work hard because it's already scheduled. It's already like in the plan, in the agenda. I know what it's going to look like. So my challenge would be to you, if you're listening to this, if you're hopping on, you're catching pieces of this, I really want you to think, when you are in that hustle mode or you're doing your business and stuff, are you productive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you actually maximizing your time so that you can get more done in less time, right? And this can even come from an energetic space. So sometimes I don't even think that, like, because sometimes it might be we're just scrolling, right? We're scrolling on socials, but that's taking us an emotional pull away from something that could be used other places. Because now you're looking at all these people that are successful and you feel in a certain type of way. Or you're looking at people that are making money, right? And you feel in a certain type of way. And so I do feel like it's so important to have some level of structure. If that's not your jam to put in structure, then hire somebody to put in the structure for you, right? Put processes in that's going to be something you outsource to other people so that you have that structure, so you don't feel like the pressure of I have to show up every day, the pressure of I have to create, I have to do content, I have to.
Yeah, before I start, in the comments, y'all, in the comments, we're coming after you. What do you feel about motivation? How do you stay motivated? I want to know, because I know this is something that is like cringeworthy for me, but I think it comes from, you have to learn it. It's one of those things where you have to fall and bust your behind and get back up and be like, woo, all right, I hear you. I got it on that one. So I'm with Dayna. I don't trust motivation. I can remember one day sitting on the couch and just being like, I'm just not motivated. All right. When I get the motivation, I'll go and do it. I remember telling my husband, I'm just not motivated right now. And when I get there, and months down the line, I'm like, I know this mug did not let that come out of my mouth and not challenge me. Like, you got so much to say about everything else, but you didn't say, Tameka, now, was you feeling like, and I was probably, like Dayna said, on my cycle, and I know I have said this multiple times in multiple episodes, that it is definitely one that we should bring. I just didn't want to force you to do it, so I want you to get your money for it. Because it is definitely worth any penny that Dayna would charge you to hear it. Because hearing it, I felt it, I knew it, but I needed somebody to tell me that, no, it's a legit thing. But we'll get y'all. We got y'all for that. But I don't trust it, because one day, it's like happiness to me, right? We have to work. You don't just wake up every day and for 24 hours you're happy. There are things that happen, and you have a choice to make, whether you sit in it, you meditate through it, you woo-saw through it, whatever you do. But motivation comes and goes, right? And one minute you can wake up and I've got the energy of like 1,000 bulls, and I will lean into it and be like, what is it that I can do right now that I know it's going to be like an hour or two. I'm going to knock something out. Let me go check my long-term list or whatever I'm doing and see if I can't start chiseling away at that. But like Dayna said, it's not going to always be there. And if you're waiting for that piece of energy, oh, well, I want to make whatever, you're giving away something for the holiday season. Well, I'll wait till I feel like it. You're not going to feel like it. Like Dayna said, never. Like, there'll always be something else that you can do. I know for me, and if you agree, jump in the comments, because I know somebody's going to be like, ooh, that's me. When I didn't understand it, I used to go and look for motivation in other places, which made me less productive, because I was going and finding people that, that's my mentor. She don't know it, but she is. And go and listen to her speak, right? I would go and listen to her speak. And for those 30 minutes that she was talking, I'd be out there like, yeah, let's go. We about to get into it. And then you go and do something, then it goes away. And then you're like, well, that didn't work. Or I would listen to it, and then once it's done, you don't go and implement anything that person said. It just felt good in the moment. So I had to learn, and it's definitely a process to motivate myself. Like, what is it? And again, it goes back to hustling. If you're hustling, there's going to be more periods of time where you probably resent, hate, don't want to do what you're doing, and you're not going to be able to self-motivate, self-start. I love what I do. Even in the moments where I'm like, why these ladies wear me down? Why do I have to keep repeating myself to y'all like my kids? How many times? But I love it, because when you get that, when I get you to where you need to be, and I hear that, Tameka, why did it take me so long? And I get to look at you like, one day you're going to listen to me the first time. It feels good. Like that feeds my soul. So that gets me up. That gets me going. And I didn't always feel like that when I was hustling, which I didn't have anybody to say don't hustle. I actually had people telling me, let's hustle. Just these 30 days, like this month, we're in Black Friday. I'm about to plug my ears and close my eyes, put those blinders on, because I see all the people that are saying, let's get ready for this Black Friday sale. It's time to hustle. It's time to hustle. But where are you going to be on December 1st? Yeah. Crawled up under your bed? Did you spend time with your family?
Yeah. And if I can just kind of like pick up with some of that hustle culture as well, that I think it's also important to kind of address, is like, think energetically how you feel when you're in that hustle mode, right? You feel aggressive, you feel like direct, and like, so what do you think you're going to attract, right? Mm-hmm. Or what are you going to detract from you, right? So if you are approaching folks with your business and the opportunity and the ideas, and you're aggressive with it, right? That's going to be off-putting. Like, just think about how many times, like, if you went to go purchase a car and you go in the dealership, like the person that's always, you ready to buy a car? You want the car now? Hey, here's the car. You should have this car. They were going to, like, you're going to be like, whoa, I just was looking. Like, that's too much, right? And so I think that's another thing that has happened in this hustle culture, where people are super, super aggressive, and then they're not getting the results that they want, or they're getting the wrong people, right? So they're getting the person that's like, oh my goodness, you're scaring me. Yes, I'll buy whatever you want. Okay, well, what else do you need? And then they never answer the phone when you call again, because they're like, I feel bullied into purchasing. I feel bullied into showing up. I feel bullied into doing this business and this product and all the things. Don't know why I bought it, except I just wanted to shut her up because she wouldn't get out of my DMs and she wouldn't stop, right? And so I feel like there's that level of hustle culture that also causes like this aggression that then again, you wonder why people hate the industry. You wonder why people want nothing to do with it. It's like, really, you are only being my friend because you are in hustle mode and you need to, get to your next goal, and you ain't thinking about nobody else. So I think that's an important part of that we need to address.
And I was going to say, on the flip side to that, say that again, Andriana.
No, I was just saying, yes, most definitely, because
it's like that. The flip side to that too, Dayna touched on it a little bit, but in the early going, which I thought she was going to tout on it a little bit more, is that when you are hustling and you scarily bring all those people, even if you bring on board, say 150 new people, that's awesome. Like, I'm going to say kudos to you, because that's amazing. But what are you going to be able to do for them next month? Are you going to be able to show up for them like you on speed next month? Maybe. But are you going to do it the following month? Probably not, because you've got nothing left. And then you're not showing up because you're having to recover, and that recovery felt nice. And we all know recovery takes a long time. You 3 months down the line, your people haven't heard from you. Maybe you've signed up new business people. Now they mad. They done gone and told Molly, Susie, Shaquita, and everybody else that she signed us up and then left, and this, that, and the third, and then nothing. And your team has collapsed. Mm-hmm. And I know for so many people out there, you might be watching, you might be like, they don't know what they're talking about. She don't know what she's talking about, because I'm still doing that and I'm X amount of months in the game. Okay, well, save this into your Facebook little savey thing. Come back in a year. Are you still with your business? Are you still with your business? Are you still with your company? Do you still have the same team that you had? Because the answer is probably going to be no. Because we're probably going to see you posted up somewhere saying how you had to stop, you're stepping back, or you're stepping away because you're tired. Mm-hmm. Because I'm having to show up as my team, because when you're in hustle mode, you can't teach either. And you're not giving your people systems. Dayna mentioned systems. Systems are big. We jump into this thing for freedoms, but if you're hustling, you don't have no freedom, because a hustle is 24/7 until you get to your end result. So what's your end result? Do you have one? Working hard and having that direction is giving you goals, so you know where you're going.
I just feel like people tend to, like we had an episode back about this. Go back. I don't know what episode number it was. Building authentic relationships, because when I feel like when you're hustling, just sitting here thinking, you tend to go into robot mode and just forget you're a person and just automatically do things. Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'm going to do this at this time. And then I'm going to turn around here and talk to Sally Sue over here. And I mean, where was the authenticity? What was the relationship building and everything like that?
So what I want to do before we let everybody go is kind of crossover, because we talked about the two, like hustle and working hard. And obviously, if y'all are listening, you kind of listen to the definitions, you kind of listen to the things that we've said. One is not a whole lot of direction. You're just running towards maybe one piece. And the other one is very deliberate, very like Dayna mentioned, I got 90 days. In these 3 months, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to accomplish. But what happens when you burn out? What happens when you get to that place? Or if neither of you have ever been there, what have you done through your business to keep you from getting there? Because I know there's some ladies and maybe even some men, because let's not pretend like men don't burn out. I mean, I'm going to let Dayna do her whole thing. But when she taught that class, y'all had me looking up, and I was real upset to know that men reset every 24 hours. That's another episode, another day. But listen to me. I know men go through it, but what are you doing? What are you doing if you've never been there? Because there's somebody watching who's probably on the brink or is like, well, what does that look like? I don't even know. So how and what are you implementing in your business and maybe even in your everyday life to stop from hitting that end, to recover, or what have you done to come back from there?
First and foremost, you should be using oils. But all jokes aside, I think tools need to be in place. You need to have tools to support you and tools to support yourself, right? So what does that look like for you? I know for me, I am religious with my morning routine. There's certain things that I make sure are in place, because especially if your mindset is so into this hustle and I have to work hard and these things, you're going to burn out if you don't have any type of self-care put in place, right? If you're not taking care of you first, you're not going to be able to output to anybody else. I always love that, illustration where they talk about your tank, right? If you put gas in your tank, right, then you can keep going and you're fueled to keep going. But if you outlet everything in that gas tank, right, of course you're going to burn out. Of course you're going to die, right? Because you don't have anything left yet to give. And so I really, really think that it's powerful to have tools in place. What does that look like for you? I know for me, I don't let anything touch my lips until I first hydrate with water, right? So it's like, what does that look like? I have to move. I know because my mind is so scattered. I like to exercise. I like to run. I like to do certain things. I get every diffuser in my home running to set the mood and the tone, my mental state, to support me. So what does that look like for you? Have you really assessed what are the tools that allow me to align myself back to me? And so I can separate myself from the business. I can separate my identity from my family and all of these other things. And I can really, really focus and stay with what fills my cup, what fills me every single day, what keeps me productive and going so you don't burn out.
Come on, Andriana, you ain't got nothing for us.
I thought you was gonna chime in. I'm trying to read the room. No, but for real, just I don't know. I commend all of this morning routine because I don't have one for myself. I may get up and just drink coffee and then get the kids ready and then we out the door. It's like a 3-ring circus every morning, just getting to where we need to go. And so I guess I learned something tonight. Just getting in place a routine because I just do. And I'm burnt out now. I'm tired. I don't want to do anything. Just get into bed.
I'm going to say it. That's why you burnt out right now. Because you don't got no routine. I love you. I love you, girl. And it is from the bottom of my heart that I'm telling you that you burnt out. I was going to say, if you're not burnt out, you heading that way. And that is coming from somebody who burnt out. It was a whole lot of other factors that played into that. But the tipping point was exactly what Dayna be down there just keep pulling the juice. I be feeling her because I didn't have a routine. Right? I went into business, and like so many other people, I didn't choose this chose me, because this was just like, man, I love this. This is what I'm gonna do. And when I jump into something, I go 10 toes down, all the way in, like cold water dunk. Get it over with. We're just gonna do the thing. And I was doing all the things. I had all the tabs open, running a million miles. I was just hustling. There was a whole lot of hard work, hustling happening, but there was absolutely no direction because I wanted to do all the things all the time. But while I thought I was high functioning within my business and things were getting done, I was reaching so many people and I felt so good, at home wasn't good. Like, I was waking up in the morning, and I am usually the most patient person in the world. Like, it takes a lot. I mean, we learned through, when you learn about your money archetypes and your personalities, you learn quickly. This is something that I do as a personality type, but you didn't know that I was done until the world was imploding, because I took on 3 months worth of crap. But it takes a lot for me to get there. But I literally was waking up every morning angry, like not consciously. Like, I would just get up and just feel mad, like, and I could not figure out why I felt so mad. I would get up, and like you said, Andrew, I would get up. I had one at home that was not school age at the time, get one to school, come, and I just felt like I hadn't slept, which I probably didn't. I was in a totally different time zone than most of my team. Matter of fact, all of my team. I was 6 hours at this time, 6 hours ahead. So I would be up till 2 a.m. Then I would lay down and be like, what's the point? Because I got to get up in 4 hours to get somebody to school. Never had a routine, just was going. There was nothing happening. Routines felt like the worst thing to me. Like, it was like, this is boring. It's mundane. It's repetitive. And I try to stay away from that, even though it actually is what kept me aligned, was doing the same thing over and over again. But I felt like if I said that out loud, people would be like, she's boring. Like, who does that? It felt spontaneous to have no list, to have no routine. And then the first time I got into a routine, I was forced into a routine. I was like, yo, what, life just kind of moves when it's like, this has to get done. This has to get done. Then I couldn't fit business in because I was running and it didn't work. In order to run, I needed to be able to sit down for 2 hours and just go and don't stop. But I got kids. I got a husband. I got all these other responsibilities that are like, yeah, 2 hours, nice try. But come on, let's go. And so it just couldn't be done. It does require that. And Dayna put it, just self-care. You have got to be so self-aware. And if I had to drop one tip for you, it's boundaries. Create them and then be very clear about them. I had boundaries, but I don't think anybody else around me knew that I had them, because I didn't let you know about them until I needed to clock you upside the head with them, and I was not clear about them. But that's my fault. And so boundaries were getting crossed, things were getting mixed up, and I was not being clear about your boundaries means you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And I don't ever want to hurt anybody's feelings. But my feelings was being hurt. So I had to learn that the hard way. That would be my one tip, is to create boundaries. It's okay to say no. And yeah, I'm all about the self-care. So, y'all, are you hustling or are you working hard? We want to know what you're doing, how you're doing it, and how can we help? This conversation literally can go on all night. We love y'all interacting with us. Like I said, this is episode 11. We are 11 weeks deep into this thing. I have loved every minute. If you've missed them, You can find them here wherever you're watching, or Dayna has so graciously put together all of the episodes into a YouTube channel. We will drop that link in the comments. Please go like it, follow it, share it. I don't know all the YouTube lingo. I'll learn it so I can say if it's what. I don't even know. We're not even going to pretend.
Hit that bell so you get notifications every time it comes out.
Yes, we will drop it in. We're trying to make this very, very user-friendly so all of you ladies and gentlemen can find us. You can share the content. Please let us know if there's any topic you would like for us to tackle. And look out for the podcast whenever it comes, because we're trying to reach everybody, y'all. All right. We love to hear your thoughts. Love to hear how you're doing. Do not hustle through this holiday season. Create a plan and be present. We love y'all, and we will see you next week, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 Central. All right, y'all.
Bye, y'all.